Join us now as we examine the common chicken myths. That's right, today we are going to be talking about common chicken myths. If you guys are new to birds, new to chickens or poultry, you may have heard some of these, and they might not be exactly correct.
We're the Dinosaur Omelette. I'm Angela, and
I'm Christopher.
And we like to encourage people to learn about self-sufficiency, homesteading, learning new skills, and bettering your quality of life.
Hence why we're doing another educational video. So guys, if you check out our channel, there's a ton of good information channels. We do weekly lives. If you're new here, feel free to sub and like the channel. That helps us out. We do put some effort into this stuff. We have a lot of experience coupled with continual education. That's why we give these videos out to you guys. So let's dive into today's wonderful subject, the myths surrounding the beautiful, wonderful, and well-beloved chicken, whether you're raising them for meat or eggs, or even just as pets.
It's winter, the temperatures are cold, and the grounds may or may not be frozen. People are often wondering, do I need to add heat or heat lamp or some sort of heat source to the coop for my chickens? Are my chickens too cold? Are they going to fare okay in the winter temperatures? The short answer is yes, they will fare just fine. And there's just a few things to think about in preparing chickens for winter temperatures. First of all, chickens and birds, they are fully equipped to handle cold temperatures, and with their feathers will keep them well insulated against the cold. And oftentimes, when temperatures seem to be pretty darn cold, they may hunch down and fluff their feathers. And when you see them fluffing their feathers like that, what's happening is there's a pocket of warmth that is forming between their skin and the interior of their feather, and that keeps them warm. Their feathers do a very good job insulating them against the harsh temperature. If a heat source is added to the interior of a coop and the chickens are dwelling in that space, and then they're released to come out into the outside temperatures that are much lower or colder than the interior of their coop, that transition to hot to cold or warm to cold, depending especially on how harsh the difference is, can create a stress on their immune system. Birds in general are more susceptible to respiratory type illness, and that change in temperature can be a stressor on their immune system and encourage poor health. The interior of a coop, it just needs to have dry bedding. You want it to be dry, draft-free, but well ventilated. Proper ventilation will allow the transfer of air enough so that it's not damp or moist. The air isn't damp or moist inside. If it's drafty, then that's going to make the birds cold. That can chill a bird. So there's a difference between draftiness and ventilated. To prepare your chickens for winter temperatures or just the winter environment, the dry bedding in the coop, having wind barriers placed so that they can be outside without the direct wind on them. So have a wind barrier provided for them, but they transition just fine going from the inside of their coop to the outside, cold temperatures. If there's no extra heat in the coop, then they will go out and have no issue adjusting. But if it's a big difference, warm to cold, then their body's working much harder to acclimate to that. And then also, having a heat source in your coop is a potential fire hazard. It's an electrical type thing. Usually it's an electrical type unit, and that in a dry bedding area can create a fire hazard.
Fascinating. That is really interesting information, Angela W. But yeah, seriously, folks, the chicken and birds in general, are exquisitely designed, and their feather structure is really amazing and perfect for insulating.
That's right.
All right, awesome. Myth number two in no particular order: calcium is the same as grit. Is this true? Can I give calcium stones like limestone or oyster shells to my chickens and that'll work as grit in a gizzard?
it will not work as grit in the gizzard because those are two different things. Calcium and grit are two different things and two different type of substance. Calcium and grit have two different purposes as well. Calcium helps to reinforce the eggshell as it's being formed. It's helping to create that strong eggshell so that when the egg finishes the process of being laid, it has a nice thick, firm shell versus being thin, brittle, or non-existent. The calcium also will help the hen have stronger egg-laying muscles and even help her skeletal system.
Grit, on the other hand, is like the chicken's teeth located in the gizzard. Check the links. I have a really cool video about the chicken anatomy, and we discussed the gizzard and the digestive tract. So we chew our food with our teeth to get it down and pre-digested, really, but the chicken can't do that, obviously, so it goes down to the gizzard where it's going to be ground up by stones, and the stones need to be hard, and the stones need to stay in there for a while. If we're using calcium, that won't work as grit because the calcium stones are going to dissolve very rapidly and get absorbed into the bird, whereas hard stones like granite, for example, they're going to stay in the gizzard for a while to work as the grinding or the mechanical digestion aid in the gizzard. It's really, really fascinating, but they do need the grit and as well as calcium. So the calcium and the grit are two different things, and they serve two different purposes.
And that grit is going to help their digestion in the sense that that grinding is going to help them absorb as much nutrient as they can from each ingredient that they ingest. So rather than having some of the food just pass through their system without them benefiting, then the bird will be able to really grind that down with that grit in the gizzard to pull those nutrients out.
Very cool. If I want eggs, I need a rooster. That's not true. So that's another one of these chicken myths. You guys who've had them for a while, you probably realize that. It's pretty commonly understood. But people new to birds, new to chickens, and they want to start an egg program, assume they're going to need a rooster. I guess it's from the cartoons we watch. I don't know why that is, but we assume we need a rooster. Not true. The chickens and your hens are going to continue to lay eggs without a rooster. You are going to want a rooster for if you want to fertilize the egg. And actually, if you have a good rooster, he acts like a protector for the flock or to just keep your coop safe. He keeps an eye out for predators. So that is another myth you can get out of your head. You do not need a rooster to produce eggs. All right. So this one's controversial. So, leave your hate mail down in the comments. It's best to use diatomaceous earth to take care of mites and other parasites like lice. Why is this a myth? So what is diatomaceous earth and why do people use it? So diatomaceous earth is actually a fossilized algae from what's called a diatom, little teeny tiny critters from a long, long time ago. Now this powder, when applied to parasites, has been found to be effective as a desiccant. A desiccant is an agent that dries. It's a drying agent. They use desiccants on plants, on apparently bugs, but it is a drying agent. And it's very effective because the diatomaceous earth made from these little microscopic algae are very absorbent. However, there is a potential negative consequence from using this. So chickens and birds have pretty sensitive respiratory systems. That's why we always talk about keeping the coops very clean. So what is the issue with the diatomaceous earth? I'm putting it on their bodies and in their coop to try to mitigate and get rid of the parasites. So what's the issue with diatomaceous earth potentially in my coop and on my chickens?
The issue actually is both for the chickens and for the people. The issue is this powder in a microscopic level, it's very jaggedy. And when breathed in by you or your chickens, it can cause damage to your lungs, your respiratory system, the bird's respiratory system. And birds and chickens, they are susceptible to respiratory issues. So having a diatomaceous earth powder in the air or even on their skin can cause irritation and potentially stress them out and create issues.
So diatomaceous earth is actually very effective against mites. It can dry them out, desiccant, take the moisture out of them. However, it's also very effective as an irritant to sensitive tissues such as poultry lungs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we never use it, right?
No, we don't actually. There are much better products like Elector PSP and other things that you can use in the coop, spraying in the coop and applying directly to the bird's skin. That's not a powder, it's a liquid, and it's effective with eradicating lice and mites.
Yeah, now you guys at home, I know some of you might be upset to hear this, so don't give me too hard of a time. You know, the diatomaceous earth, it is effective if properly used, but again, it comes with a cost-benefit issue. It could cause irritation to the poultry's very delicate respiratory system. Hey, Angela, is it a good idea to give all of my used kitchen scraps to my chickens?
It's not a good idea to give all your scraps. Some of your scraps, totally fine. Don't use your chickens as a garbage can. There are lots of different foods that we eat that chickens can eat too, but you want to make sure your chickens are getting a daily serving of nutrients that benefit their bodies. It's natural to want to give your chickens scraps from the kitchen, but some of the things that we eat are actually toxic or dangerous for chickens to eat. Some things like green potato skins, onions, avocado pits and skins, and there's some other things as well. Make sure you are feeding your chickens nutritional, beneficial food that's nutritional for them, and that the food that you want to give them from your table is good and healthy.
I have free-range chickens. I never have to buy them feed. This is kind of a myth. So free-range chickens are exceptionally healthy. They have a variety of foods to pick from, the natural greens, the delicious, nutritious insects that are out in their environment. However, in a free-range diet, they may not be getting the essential amino acids and nutrients that would make a complete nutritional profile for the bird. And obviously, this time of year, we're in the deep winter. It's very cold, and there is no longer an abundance of food growing around for the free-range birds, so we are definitely going to want to supplement them. Not only are they going to need the nutrients, they're going to need extra calories during the cold season. So even if you're free-ranging your birds, you may want to take a look at their diet to make sure they're getting everything they actually need. I think the last myth we should talk about is egg laying. Every chicken that I see is good for egg laying. I see a chicken, I'm going to buy it, and it's going to lay me eggs. Is this true? Is this going to work? Can I just buy any chicken and expect eggs? Does it matter?
It does matter, and it does depend on your expectation, but yes, it does matter. There are breeds of chickens that are specific for egg laying, high production egg laying, in fact. Breeds known for egg production tend to lay anywhere from 200 to 300 eggs a year per hen. Breeds that are not known for egg production but may still lay an egg, they'll lay around maybe 100 eggs or below 200. If you're wanting to have a steady flow of egg production throughout the week, then you're going to want to make sure the chicken is an ideal breed and also a good age. If they're older, their production will start to drop and eventually cease altogether. So a nice young chicken, 6 months, 7 months to about under 2 years is great for egg production.
So if you guys are starting with chickens in the spring, or maybe you're new to chickens, just do your due diligence, do some research and find out which ones are going to be best for what your program is. Maybe you're doing eggs, you're doing meat, you want to do both. Just a little research to find out what breed of bird is going to satisfy those needs best. All right, guys, well, those are some of the very common chicken myths that we've heard. We've heard a lot of these before.
Yes.
Like people call us and ask. So those are some pretty common chicken myths that you may have heard or things you may have been misinformed about. And I hope that was educational and informative, and we appreciate you coming in to watch the vid.
If you're new to our channel, subscribe, like the video, leave us a comment or question. We produce lots of educational, helpful videos for you guys.
Yeah, guys, we do a lot of educational videos. We usually do a live on Thursday that you're always welcome to come into. It's question and answer. But yeah, education, knowledge, and skills are a core to enjoying your whole homestead experience, because you want to be in control of what you're doing, and you want to know without having that anxiety what you're getting into.
We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for coming in.